And you, my love, be a beautiful, beautiful pine someday, won't you? With your beautiful seeds that you've given to the earth. You know I know you're there, right? You crouching behind the maple tree. Come on out. That's all right. I'm not going to hurt you, I promise. No. I wish no ill will to any living thing. That's all right. I know you're curious. You would not have gotten this close if you weren't curious of who I was. There you are. See? Nothing to be afraid of. You're perfectly welcome in this grove. Now, do you have any idea who I may be? No, not a fairy. Although, I suppose they are one of my creations, so it's not that unusual that you may think that. I'm not a dryad either, in case you were wondering. Very good. You've met a goddess before, haven't you? Oh, the astral goddess. Yes, my sister. She's, well, a bit different than me, I suppose, but she's still good. She's very good at the domain that she resides over, I suppose. Just as I am of mine. No, I am... Well, I suppose I'm known by quite a lot of names. Around here, most people call me the Mother Goddess. That's right. The Goddess of Nature. Technically, I have 3 forms. Right now, you are witnessing the final moments of this particular form. That's right. You see, in the spring, when life is new and everything is just waking up from the cold of winter, if you happened to see me in the forest, you would see a lovely young maiden, not a care in the world, blessing the earth with her gift of life, the sweet kiss of spring. Then in the summer and into autumn, you see the Mother Goddess, the goddess of bountiful harvest, when the earth is full of life and nature thrives. And then later, soon, once the frost that has already begun to cling to the morning air, once it takes hold and you feel the icy breath of winter, then if you were to see me, you would see it's become unfortunately known as the crone. I suppose that name's got a bit of negative connotation, although it's not meant to. It's just the state of nature when things need to rest. Winter is not so much about death and cold as it is about a time for the world to lie dormant, to recharge, if you will, to make spring all that more vibrant. And so the form that you would see of me, I suppose, is a bit old and withered looking. Not in a way that's supposed to be dark or unpleasant at all, though some people think it is. But no, now you're seeing me in the final stages of my time as mother, before winter takes hold. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to disturb you or anything. I'm not sure what you were doing in the forest, but you're welcome. All living things are welcome here. I was just taking a bit of a walkabout, I suppose you could say. Just relishing in the beauty of the season one last time. You know, I know I'm not supposed to have a favourite, seeing as all of nature is my domain. But there's something special about autumn. It's not only is it when, the harvest happens in earnest and you get to reap the benefits of the hard work of spring and summer, but it's also, it's the final stage before nature takes a breath for winter. And all of the warmth, the colours, the vibrancy of life, it's almost like nature is giving you a grand finale. One last time, before we go into intermission. Quite proud of that, actually, in the sense of fullness of life that you can experience in the autumn. One last gift to the world before we rest. Anyway, sorry, I don't mean to be all sentimental, but I do very much like this time of year. Autumn is a season of change. Yes, the leaves change and all of the different plants, many of them, the summer flowers start to fade and the autumn flowers bloom in earnest. But it's also a time for the animals to start gathering food, if they haven't already. Some of them to prepare for quite a long rest themselves during the winter months. It's a time that is bustling with activity all over the place. There's something about the feeling of autumn. Now, I suppose that's not to say there isn't a feeling in spring or in summer too. In spring, where the new life is just peeking out. Or in summer, where the land thrives. But there's something about autumn. Everything just sort of lets out one final breath that it's been holding, waiting for the release of a calm, cozy winter. It's lovely. Anyway, I was just sort of walking around, marvelling at the season. Many beautiful things here in autumn. All the trees dropping their leaves and their seeds as well. The pines all giving us their lovely little pine cones. Beautiful, intricate things, pine cones. They start out, as they're growing, all closed up, holding the seeds close, guarding the legacy of the tree inside of their little crevices, until they're ready to fall. And as they prepare to fall, they open up and bloom, almost like a flower. And the seeds that they've been guarding and nurturing for so long, they finally let them go into the world to carry on and become their own trees someday. And then here we are, left with these lovely little carriers. Not necessarily any good to the tree anymore, except for those that sit on the ground until they become the soil and enrich the soil that the tree grows in. But they are quite lovely. I understand why so many mortals like to decorate with them, create little things out of them. You know, it's so fascinating that even the largest, grandest of pine trees in the forest was once just one tiny little seed inside of a pine cone, just like this one. There are many lessons that nature can teach us, and one of them is definitely never underestimate something's size. Size does not equal importance. The tiniest of seeds can hold the future king tree of the forest. Well done, little pinecones. You did your job well. Sent your seeds off into the world to embed in the soil and rest for winter until they start to sprout in the spring as warmth graces the world again. Well done, little pinecones. Well done. And then, of course, there's the leaves. You can't think of autumn without thinking of leaves, can you? The trees letting go of their lovely, lovely green leaves as they change colour. Bright yellow. Perhaps a vibrant red. As the leaves flitter down from the branches on to the lands below, as the tree gets ready for its long sleep during the winter, to cultivate new buds in the spring. And the leaves, well, of course they have a purpose. Nothing in nature is wasted. The leaves may serve as fodder for little critters' beds to keep them warm. Or perhaps they too will sink into the soil, enrich the trees around them that they came from. Or perhaps they'll end up in mortals' decorations again. You mortals are quite fond of your decorations in honour of the seasons, aren't you? No, I don't mind. I actually quite enjoy it. I love getting to see the creatures in all the different realms enjoy the gifts of nature around them. Though there are those who abuse that power. But to those who appreciate the beauty and the sanctity of nature, the lessons that it can teach us, the gifts that it offers. To those who understand and respect that, I love sharing my creations. So many different kinds, different colours, different shapes. Different veins running through them, working to bring nutrients to the tree. Quite lovely, if I do say so myself. Got a few little ones down here too. Some of them that are not quite dry yet. They're still pliable, I suppose. That would make a very soft bedding, wouldn't it? Perhaps for a little rabbit or a badger, maybe a fox. Who knows? All sorts of creatures in this forest. You know, this forest is one of my favourites, in this realm anyway. There are quite a few forests or other areas in my domain that, well, not quite the same anymore. But this one, this enchanting crescent forest, remains not entirely, but almost untouched, unaltered. And those who do reside in it respect its beauty and its power. It's one of my favourite places to come and appreciate the seasons, the passage of time, the gifts that we get to receive through each part of the year. Very different, but all crucial, all beautiful in their own ways. You know, some mortals will take leaves when they're like this. When they're fallen, starting to dry, but not quite all the way dry yet. And they'll take particularly colourful ones. And they'll open up a book, place them inside, press them amidst the pages. And then they'll keep them. Perhaps use them in art, decoration again, or perhaps just as a memento of time gone by. The autumn leaf teaches us that there's a time for everything in our lives. A time to bud, a time to bloom and thrive. Reach high towards the sun, give back to those around us. keep our communities and our fellow creatures healthy, safe, nourished. And then there's a time to breathe your last and rest. Only to begin anew when you're ready. Some people find almost a sadness in autumn, thinking about what's to come next. It makes me very sad. It's never what I intended. I intended for autumn to be a time of appreciation for what we have. A time of reflection, thinking back on who we've been, who we are now, how we've grown, how we would still like to grow. And a time of anticipation. As we believe in the coming spring. You see, winter is not sad because it's not forever. If autumn was the last of life, and then all we had was an eternal winter coming, then yes, that would be sad, I suppose. But winter is also just a season. It comes, we rest, we reflect, we store up, and then it goes, and we breathe again, and welcome in new, budding, beautiful, small life as it grows. I love autumn. Although I suppose if you saw me in the spring, I would say the same about spring. Oh, these are lovely little things. Another type of seed pod for a tree. When they grow, they start out all closed up, just in little bowls, keeping the seeds safe inside. And then when it's time, it opens up and it releases those seeds out into the world. To become new trees of their own. Leaving behind this fascinating looking little memento of its journey, of its duty to the continuation of life. Quite sharp. Not entirely sharp, but sharp enough to deter, a fox who may try to scurry into a little rabbit's burrow. Many little creatures will collect these, either to nibble on or to use as defences. All sorts of uses. Like I said, nature wastes nothing. Even if they were to just sit on the forest floor, they would eventually become the soil as well. Nourish the trees around them. It's one final gift before they're taken into the tree, and then the cycle starts over. In everything in life there is a season. A season to grow, to protect the seeds inside, and then a season to let them go, and a season to rest before it starts over. I hope that when you mortals look at autumn, that the majority of you don't see the sadness of something coming to an end, that instead you see the hope that the story is not finished. It's never finished. So much to love in autumn. From the dancing, falling leaves to the chilly air that whispers in our ears. Fascinating thing, the wind. An excellent lesson in faith, I suppose, because you can't really see the wind. You can see the effects of the wind. You can hear the leaves rustling as the wind blows through it. You can't actually see the wind, but you know it's there. Untamable, full of its own secrets, really. You know, the wind actually plays quite a vital role in nature as well. Did you know? It's not just something that helps the leaves fall off the trees. Something to make you think you heard someone when you didn't. No, the wind also, well, I suppose it helps the pinecones, the other seed pods, for as they open up and let loose their bounty, the seeds inside, the wind picks up those little seeds and scatters them across the land. That's how you get forests. That's how you don't just get, a clump of trees all growing on top of each other. The wind helps to spread them out. To bring the bounty of the pinecone to all reaches of the land. Well done, little pinecone. You're looking rather tired. I suppose I probably shouldn't keep you. Whatever you were doing in the forest, I suppose it's rather important. I should probably get on with that, so you can get back to your human shelter before nightfall. Well, thank you for listening to the musings of a silly old goddess, for allowing me to share the beauty of autumn with you. Would you like to keep this? Just as a bit of a reminder, I suppose. Sure. I mean, I suppose there are plenty of them in the forest now, but how many of those pinecones were handed to you by a goddess? That's right. In fact, actually, I'm going to make it a bit special for you. There. Look at that. Now you'll remember where this pinecone came from. Not just some random little one sitting on your desk. This one you'll remember. And hopefully it will help you remember the beauty of change, the importance of rest, and the hope of spring. Spring always comes. Even in the darkest days, when it doesn't feel like it will, it always does eventually. There. You're welcome. Well, I suppose I've already taken up too much of your time, but I do hope that you enjoy the rest of your autumn. I've got quite a few other places I would like to visit before my time, in this year anyway, is up. But do enjoy yourself. And I hope you enjoy your winter as well. I know some people find winter to be sad and dull and dark. I mean, it can be dark, but there's a reason for that. So I hope you enjoy your winter as well. And if you don't, perhaps you'll need another visit from me in a different fall. Never know. Well, I suppose I should be going on for now. I suppose you most likely should be too. Perhaps we'll meet again. Someday. You never know. Anything could happen, really. It's the beauty of nature. There are some things that are constant, and yet there's always a surprise too, isn't there? Who knows what that surprise will be next? But I think you're going to like it, whatever it is. Well, bye for now, little mortal. I do hope that we meet again.